So good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Okay. The slide is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll start now. So in the last class, we have discussed about the spinal nerves, spinal cord and spinal nerves. So if you can remember, this is the photograph of the spinal cord. This is a cross section of the spinal cord. And this is the photograph showing the spinal nerve originated from the spinal cord. So I just recall the things. So each spinal nerve, you will see this is a photograph. Inside you will get the spinal cord, from where two roots are coming out. One is dorsal root, another is ventral root. The dorsal root is sensory or afferent. Ventral root is motor or efferent. The dorsal root, outside the spinal cord, there is a enlargement forming the spinal ganglion. And after that, both the nerves are united together, and from there, the spinal nerve originated. So, beyond the ganglion, the dorsal root joins the ventral root. Here you see. Beyond the ganglion means this is the spinal ganglion. After the ganglion, both the ventral root and the dorsal root join together to form the typical spinal nerve. So, what is a typical spinal nerve? The typical spinal nerve is that nerve that is originated from the spinal cord, and it is formed by the union of dorsal root and the ventral root. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The ventral root contains fewer fibers. That means the number of fibers on the ventral root are less as compared to the dorsal root, except in case of first cervical nerve. So in the first cervical nerve, the ventral root carries more fibers. Otherwise, in other spinal nerves, the dorsal root carry more fiber. So there is no ganglion on the ventral root. So you won't find any ganglion in the ventral root. Only one ganglion you are going to get, that is in the dorsal root. So ganglion already we have discussed. It is the accumulation of nerve cell outside the central nervous system, that is called the ganglion. But if the accumulation takes place inside the central nervous system, it is called nuclei. Now, each spinal nerve, after emergence from lateral vertebral or intervertebral foramen, as we know, the spinal nerve is exit from the spinal canal or vertebral canal through the lateral or intervertebral foramen and gives off some small meningeal branch. Actually, you see this photograph. Here, this is the spinal cord. This is the dorsal root. This is the spinal ganglion. This is the ventral root. They are united together to form the spinal nerve. So this is the spinal nerve. After forming the spinal nerve, so how the spinal nerve is formed? It is formed by the union of dorsal root and the ventral root. Now, after forming the spinal nerve, it will give a small branch. There is the small meningeal branch that will go to the meninges. Now, what is meninges? Meninges are the covering membrane of the brain and spinal cord. Now, there are three layers of the meninges. One is the dura-mater, one is arachnoid, another is pyometer. So, this meningeal branch, this is the first branch of the spinal nerve that will give nerve impulse to these meninges. This is joined by a bundle of fibers to form a communicating branch and enters the vertebral canal in which it is distributed. That means after that, it will give a communicating branch. This is the communicating branch. So two branches already we have encountered. So after forming the spinal nerve, it will give first branch, that is the meningeal branch, that will supply to the meninges. Secondly, you will get a communicating branch, and this communicating branch enters the vertebral canal, because vertebral canal is here. Here is the vertebral canal. So it enters the vertebral canal in which it is distributed. Now each spinal nerve, after that, each spinal nerve is again divided into two branches, two primary branches. This is the dorsal primary branch and this is the ventral primary branch. So can you recall all the nerve, how the spinal nerve is formed? So I repeat, this is the spinal cord, cross section of the spinal cord. From the dorsal, this is the inside, this is the H-shaped gray matter, this is the white matter. From the gray matter, dorsal horn. These are the two dorsal horn of the gray matter, and this is the two ventral horn of the gray matter. From the dorsal horn of the gray matter, the dorsal root arises, and from the ventral horn, the ventral roots arises. The number of dorsal roots are more, except the first cervical nerve. After that, the dorsal root will form the spinal ganglion. Then it will unite, and after that, after union of this one, so spinal nerve, it will give small meningeal branch. Then secondly, you will get a communicating branch. After that, the typical spinal nerve will be divided into two primary branches. One is dorsal primary branch, another is ventral primary branch. Till now it is clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear? So this dorsal primary branch is efferent, that is sensory, motor or mixed. Dorsal primary branch. What type of it is?
Sensory.
Huh? Huh?
Sensory or efferent.
Sensory or efferent. What is your name?
Marilyn.
Marilyn. So,
Yes, sir.
so you are confusing with the dorsal primary branch and the dorsal root. The dorsal root is here, it is sensory. Ventral root is here. Their union takes place. After union, it will be not sensory. What will be? What is the type of the nerve here?
Mixed nerve.
Mixed nerve. Ah, mixed nerve. Then dorsal primary branch is a what type of nerve? Dorsal primary branch.
Mixed nerve.
Mixed nerve. And ventral primary branch is a ventral primary branch. What type?
Mixed
nerve. Yes, both are mixed, because I am not talking about the dorsal root. Dorsal root is different, dorsal primary branch is different. This is not the spinal nerve. Dorsal root is not the spinal nerve. This is the dorsal root only. And this is the ventral root. When there is union takes place, after that it will form the spinal nerve. This is the dorsal primary branch of the spinal nerve, that is mixed, because mix already happened here. The dorsal primary branch is also mixed nerve. The ventral primary branch is also a mixed nerve. Okay, Marilyn?
Yes, sir.
Now it is clear. So don't confuse with the dorsal root and the dorsal spinal nerve. Dorsal spinal nerve is a mixed, and ventral spinal nerve is also mixed, because the spinal nerve is formed by the union of the dorsal root and the ventral root. That is why the spinal nerve is always mixed. So don't confuse with the dorsal root and the dorsal spinal nerve. Okay, don't confuse with the ventral root and the ventral spinal nerve. Ventral spinal nerve is a mixed nerve. Ventral root is efferent. Now, the ventral branch supply, where it will, coming to the dorsal branch, the dorsal, this is the dorsal branch. The dorsal branches are smaller than the ventral. Remember, the dorsal branches are smaller. Why dorsal branches are smaller? Because dorsal will supply only to the area nearer to the vertebral column, whereas ventral branch has to supply up to the limbs. Okay, and ventral area is so much: abdominal cavity, then abdominal wall, then forelimb, then hind limb. So very large area, it has to be covered by the ventral branch. That is why the ventral branch is larger than the dorsal branch, except in the cervical region. Cervical region, the dorsal area is larger, because cervical area, so many areas has to supply by the dorsal region. They are distributed chiefly to the muscles and skin of the dorsal part of the body. Already I told you, the dorsal part of the body, the nerve supply is getting from the dorsal primary branch. Whereas in the ventral branch, it will supply the muscles and skin of the ventral parts of the body, including the limbs. Already I told you, is not it? Including the limbs. So which branches is larger, dorsal or ventral?
Sir, ventral.
Ventral. Ventral branch. Now, each nerve or each ventral branch is connected with an adjacent ganglion of the sympathetic part of the autonomic nervous system by at least one small short branch known as the ramus communicans or communicating branch. Here you see, in this photograph, this one is the communicating branch. You see, this is the spinal nerve. Have you seen this photograph? Have you seen my cursor?
Yes, sir.
So this is the communicating branch. This is the communicating branch. Here in this photograph also you see, this is the communicating branch which connect from the ventral root. This is the ventral root. This is the ventral spinal nerve. This is the dorsal. This is the dorsal spinal nerve. This is the ventral spinal nerve. So ventral spinal nerve is connecting to the communicating branch. Okay. So that is called ramus communicans. This is ramus communicans. And this is the part of the autonomic nervous system. So peripheral nervous system, you will get spinal nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Now, autonomic nervous system are those nervous system which is involved the spinal and cranial nerve. Both the cranial nerves and spinal nerves are involved to perform the autonomic nervous system. There is another nervous system, that is the autonomic nervous system, and that ganglia is also present here. So he will be getting two ganglia here. So don't confuse. One is spinal ganglion. Spinal ganglion is only formed by the dorsal root, whereas another sympathetic ganglion you will be getting in the ventral root, which is connecting to the ventral root, and that is the part of the autonomic nervous system. A nerve may be connected with two ganglia, and a ganglion may be connected with two nerves. Now, what is the meaning of that? A nerve may be connected with two ganglia. So, nerve is a very long structure. Suppose the nerve, have you, Om sir, talk about the nerves or not? Hello? Om sir taught about the nerve. Now you see, nerve is very long because spinal nerve is originated from the spinal cord. It has to supply up to the digits of the forelimb and hind limb. So it has to be very long. So a nerve is completed by forming at least 1 or 2 ganglia. So these ganglia are prevertebral. Have you heard this name? Prevertebral ganglia, postvertebral ganglia. Okay, but preganglionic fiber or postganglionic fiber. So there are two, at least there may be 1 ganglia, or in some of the nerve there is only 1 ganglia, and in most of the nerve there are 2 ganglia. They are prevertebral and postvertebral, or you can say preganglion and postganglion. So at least 1 ganglion must be there, and in most of the nerves you will get 2 ganglia. The dorsal root is usually sensory or efferent, that is, it conveys impulses to the central nervous system. Its fibers are axons of the cells of the spinal ganglion, whereas the ventral root is motor or efferent and conveys impulses towards the periphery. Its fibers are axons of large cells and in the ventral gray column of the spinal cord. So very simple term, already I told you, the dorsal root is sensory or efferent, or ventral root is motor or efferent. The common trunk or nerve formed by the union of 2 roots, already I discussed this thing, 2 roots, contains both kind of fibers, as do also their primary divisions. In addition to this fiber, which are distributed to the skeletal muscle and skin, the spinal nerves contain fibers derived from sympathetic system through the ramus communicants. Already I told you these things. These are the ramus communicants. Already I told you. Now the thoracic spinal nerve are arranged. So our part is the thoracic region. So already regarding the general spinal nerves, I told you. So how the spinal nerve is formed? Now do you know how the spinal nerve is formed? It is clear that how the spinal nerve is originated, or is there any doubt? Tell me. So how spinal nerve is formed is clear or not? Say something. Clear? So how spinal nerve is formed? It is formed by 2 roots, dorsal root and the ventral root. Dorsal root form the spinal ganglion. After that, both the roots are united together to form the spinal nerve. It will give first meningeal branch, then communicating branch. Then it will be divided into 2 branches. One is 2 primary branches. One is called dorsal primary spinal nerve and ventral primary spinal nerve. The dorsal primary spinal nerve will give the region of the skin and the muscles nearer to the vertebral column, whereas ventral primary spinal nerve will supply the lateral walls of the thorax and abdomen and go up to the digits. That is why the ventral spinal nerve is larger in nature. Now coming to the thoracic cavity or thorax. The thoracic spinal nerves are arranged numerically according to the vertebra caudal to which they emerge. So that means thoracic spinal nerves arranged numerically. So how many thoracic vertebrae we are going to get in case of cattle? There are 13 number of thoracic vertebrae in case of cattle. So there are 13 pairs of thoracic spinal nerve, and they are arranged numerically. That means the vertebra are T1, T2, T3, T4 up to T13. Similarly, the spinal nerve also T1, T2, T3, T4 up to T13. Now where from it arises? It arises from the caudal area. Caudal area of the vertebra. What is the meaning of that? Suppose there is T1 thoracic vertebra. So caudal aspect of the T1 thoracic vertebra, you will get the T1 thoracic spinal nerve. Understood or not? So it is originated caudal side. Okay. So the T1 thoracic spinal nerve is originated in between the T1 and T2 thoracic vertebra. Clear? Similarly, T2 thoracic spinal nerve originated from the T2 and T3 thoracic vertebrae. Clear? Okay. Now, most of them are arranged in very similar manner. The majority of these spinal nerves leave the vertebral canal through the lateral vertebral foramen, caudal to the corresponding vertebra in bovine. Already I told you. And in case of cattle, so these thoracic spinal nerve are exit from the vertebral canal through the lateral vertebral foramen, and in case of horse, intervertebral foramen. Now each divide into smaller dorsal and a larger ventral branch, similar to the other parts. So here also in the thorax region, you will get spinal nerve, two different spinal nerve. One is dorsal and another is ventral. The areas of innervation of the dorsal branches of the 1 to 5th thoracic nerve are on the spinal muscles and skin of the thorax. Now here you see, this is the photograph of the spinal cord. You see, this is the spinal cord. Have you seen the photograph?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the spinal cord, and these are something is coming out, and these are spinal nerves. Now dorsal root will supply in this region, in this side and this side, dorsal region. And ventral will supply here on this side. It will go back. Yes. They want to join later. Internet problem. Already I admit. Okay. Now nobody is there. Okay. Now dorsal spinal nerve will supply in this region, dorsal region, in this region, and ventral spinal nerve will here. It will supply ventrally. The 11 and 12 thoracic nerves gives up branches to longissimus thoracis and iliocostalis. And these are not very important. So what you have to remember, the dorsal spinal nerve will supply to the dorsal area, and ventral spinal nerve will supply to the area of ventral region. Now the dorsal branch of 13 thoracic spinal nerve emerges at about the level of the costochondral junction of the last rib and distributed to the skin of the flank. Not important. Now here you see ventral branch. Now here you see in this photograph. Okay, I will show you the photograph in a different way. Let me try this one. Now it is bigger, no?
Yes, sir.
Now you see. So this is the vertebral column. C6, C7, C8, T1, T2, like that. Okay. So here you see, this is the C8 thoracic vertebra. That means cervical C8. That means I mean to say cervical. Cervical is a little bit different. I will not talk this one. Now this you see, this is the T1 thoracic vertebra. So T1 thoracic vertebra, I told that the spinal nerve is originated from the caudal side. That means this one. This one is T1 thoracic spinal nerve, caudally. This is T2 thoracic vertebra, and this is the caudal portion. So this one is T2 thoracic vertebrae. T2 thoracic spinal nerve. Understood or not?
Yes, sir.
It is arise caudally. So why it is C8? You might be asking, there are 7 cervical vertebrae, is not it? There are 7 cervical vertebrae or not?
Yes, sir.
So how C8 is coming? Actually, have you seen the atlas bone or not?
Yes, sir.
Atlas bone is over. Atlas bone is over or not?
No, sir.
So atlas is the what type? Which cervical vertebra? Atlas. First. So if you remember the atlas, then you will get on the wing of the atlas, you will get one lateral vertebral foramen. One hole is there on the wing of the atlas. Have you seen? Can you remember the photograph of atlas? Then the first spinal nerve is coming from there. So that is why it is C8. This is C8 because from the first cervical spinal nerve is originated from the lateral vertebral foramen. After that, each spinal nerve is originated from the caudal root. That is why one more cervical spinal nerve in case of cervical region. So coming to that part, I am not going to deal. So my part is this thoracic vertebra. This is T1, T2, T3. So T1, this is the caudal portion of the T1. So this thoracic spinal nerve is T1. This is T2. Similarly, you will get here T3. These are the thoracic spinal nerve. Now, if you see here in the spinal nerve, this branch here you will get a dorsal branch and a ventral branch. So this is the ventral branch, and dorsal branch will be supplying in this region. So these are the ventral branch. Now I am going to ask you here. Yes, the ventral branch or intercostal branch. This is the ventral branch or intercostal in case of thoracic nerve, not the other nerve. Okay, because the space, the ventral branch is present in the space between the ribs, and that space is called intercostal space. That is why the ventral branch of the thoracic spinal nerve is also called intercostal nerve. This is also called intercostal nerve because they are present in the intercostal space. So these branches are much larger than the dorsal branches and are connected with the sympathetic trunk by remi communicants. So already what is remi communicants? Already I told you. Now the first ventral branch goes almost entirely to the brachial plexus. You see here. I am showing the photograph here. Just 1 minute. Yes. The first ventral branch goes almost entirely to the brachial plexus, but sends a small branch ventrally to the first intercostal space. So here in this photograph, you see this is the first thoracic spinal ventral branch of the thoracic spinal nerve. So here you see the one branch will supply to the brachial plexus. This is the brachial plexus. So that part is not coming. Where? Just 1 minute. Okay. I will share this one again. Okay. So here you see, have you seen the slide?
Yes, sir.
So this is the brachial plexus. This is the brachial plexus. This is the brachial. The brachial plexus, have you heard this name?
Yes, sir.
So how it is formed? Can you remember? Ohms are taught, I think, brachial plexus, is not it? So how it is formed? Can you remember? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Cervical and thoracic.
No,
nerve.
sir.
Who told? Cervical and thoracic?
Sir, मैं
मैं मतलब कौन? मेरे को थोड़ी पता है मैं मतलब
स्वप्ना साहू.
सपना साहू. So brachial plexus is formed by the ventral primary branches of C6, C7, C8 and T1 and T2 spinal nerve. Okay, क्या बोल रहा हूँ? C6, C7, C8, that is cervical spinal nerve, and T1 and T2 thoracic spinal nerve. So that will form the brachial plexus. Here, this is the brachial plexus. Now, what is the importance of the brachial plexus, Sapna? It will supply nerve to the
limbs.
forelimb. Yes, forelimb. Now, we are discussing about the first ventral branch of the first thoracic spinal nerve. It will supply to the brachial plexus, formation of the brachial plexus. So that means the ventral branch of the first thoracic spinal nerve will be dividing into two parts. One part will supply to the brachial plexus and another part will supply to the first intercostal space. Similarly, the second ventral branch means second thoracic ventral spinal nerve. That will also give two branches. One will supply to the brachial plexus and another will supply to the intercostal space. So you see, this is the first intercostal space, this is the second intercostal space. So ventral spinal nerve will give two branches, that is the first and second thoracic spinal nerve will give two branches. One branch will go to the brachial plexus, another branch will directly supply nerve plexuses to the intercostal spaces. Now the intercostal nerve descends in the intercostal spaces, already I told you, and supply fibers to the intercostal muscles. The intercostal nerves gives of lateral cutaneous branches. So these intercostal branches also gives the lateral cutaneous branches that will supply to the skin of the thorax region. Already I told you. Now here you see, this is the T1, this is the T2. So already I told you, one branch will supply to the brachial plexus, another branch will go straight in the intercostal space. But the T2 thoracic spinal nerve again give another branch. Have you seen this branch? This branch is called intercostobrachial nerve. Now what is that intercostobrachial nerve? Here you see. The intercostobrachial nerve arises from the union of cutaneous branches of the intercostal nerve and the lateral thoracic nerve. These two nerves are combined together to form the intercostobrachial nerve and contains, in addition to the sensory fibers, motor fibers from the lateral thoracic nerve for the cutaneous omobrachialis muscle. Now here you will get one muscle called cutaneous omobrachialis. Now what is that muscle? This muscle is a cutaneous muscle, cutaneous omobrachialis. So that muscle is supplied by the intercostobrachial nerve. Now, the ventral branch of the last thoracic you see in this photograph. This is the last rib or not? This is the last rib. Hello, this is the last rib or not? This is the last rib.
Sir.
So this spinal nerve, the white color spinal nerve, is the last thoracic nerve. The ventral branches of the last thoracic, so that will give supply to the abdominal area. This is abdomen, and that nerve is called costo-abdominal nerve. Now what is costo-abdominal nerve? Costo-abdominal nerve is the ventral branch of the last thoracic nerve that will supply to the abdomen region. It is having two branches. One is lateral branch, another is medial branch. The lateral branch is distributed to the cutaneous trunci muscle. The cutaneous trunci is a cutaneous muscle present in the abdomen. The cutaneous muscle present in the thorax region is known as omobrachialis. Already I told you. So both these muscles are very important to the body. Actually, if you see the animal, then their skin is always shivering, or there is contraction of the skin to repel the flies. And this contraction occurs with the help of nerve, and that nerve is the cutaneous branch. And this cutaneous branch in the omobrachialis area will be supplied by the omobrachialis muscle, costobrachial nerve, and in the abdominal region, that is in the cutaneous trunci muscle, that is supplied by costo-abdominal nerve. The costobrachial nerve arises from the branches of the T2 thoracic spinal nerve, and costo-abdominal nerve arises from the ventral branches of the last thoracic spinal nerve. Now, the costo-abdominal is again divided into lateral and medial branch. The lateral branch will supply to the cutaneous trunci muscle. The medial branches will supply to the abdominal muscles. For example, rectus abdominis. Rectus abdominis is an abdominal muscle. And in addition to that, it will also supply to the fascia and skin of the ventral abdominal wall. The ventral abdominal wall is supplied by this medial branch. So this is all about the thoracic spinal nerve. So if you have any query, you can ask me. My part is over. तुम लोगों को कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछना है तो पूछो. सो गया क्वेश्चन नहीं है. क्वेश्चन है कि नहीं है?
Sir, how the number is to each of the spinal nerve?
हाँ,
Sir, how the numerical number is assigned to each of the spinal nerve?
नंबर के हिसाब से, वर्टिब्री का नंबर के हिसाब से होगा। वर्टिब्री का नंबर होता है ना T1, T2, T3, T4 up to T13 in case of cattle, in case of horse up to T18. Similarly, स्पाइनल नर्व का भी ऐसा ही नंबर है, वही न्यूमेरिकल है। ठीक है?
Okay, sir.
Any more question? Any more question? अच्छा, ये तुम लोगों का अभी थोरैक्स में क्या क्या हो गया? थोरैक्स का क्या क्या पढ़ लिया? मैंने क्या क्या पढ़ाया है बोलो? खत्म? खत्म और नहीं है? और नहीं पढ़ाया? Bones of the thorax, joints of the thorax, muscles of the thorax, then arteries of the thorax, veins of the thorax, lymphatics of the thorax, and nerves of the thorax. ठीक है?
Yes, sir.
Right? अभी क्या? अभी thorax में और क्या बाकी है?
Organs.
Organ बाकी है. So organ कौन सा organ रहता है mainly? thoracic cavity में?
Lungs.
Lungs and heart. Heart तो ओम सर ने पढ़ा लिया ना?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
lungs हम पढ़ेंगे. So खाली lungs ही होगा कि lungs के साथ कुछ कनेक्शन होगा? lungs की आगे की तरफ कनेक्शन क्या होगा? lungs belongs to which system? Respiratory system. So respiratory system शुरुआत कहाँ से होता है? nostril. Then nostril के बाद
nasal cavity.
nasal cavity. Then what?
Pharynx.
अरे नेसल कैविटी का दोनों साइड में 2 होल होता है ना? आगे की तरफ 2 होल है जो जिसको बोलता है, जहां से तुम लोग से रेस्पिरेशन लेते हो उसको बोलता है एंटीरियर नेरिस। ठीक है? नॉस्ट्रिल में 2 होल होता है कि नहीं होता है? तुम्हारा नाक में 2 होल है कि नहीं है? ना नहीं है? है?
Yes, sir.
दोनों होल का नाम क्या होता है? एंटीरियर नेरिस। और हवा घुसेगा कि नहीं घुसेगा वहां से?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
तो हवा अंदर भी तो जाना है, पीछे की तरफ भी 2 होल होना पड़ेगा ना?
Yes,
होना
sir.
पड़ेगा कि नहीं? उसको बोलता है पोस्टीरियर नेरिस। ठीक है? क्या बोल रहा हूं? आगे की तरफ एंटीरियर नेरिस और पीछे की तरफ
Posterior nares.
हाँ, दोनों के बीच में क्या है? नेसल कैविटी। ठीक है? सो दोनों के बीच में क्या होता है? नेसल कैविटी। दैट मीन्स फर्स्ट यू विल गेट एंटीरियर नेरिस, देन यू विल गेट नेसल कैविटी, देन यू विल गेट पोस्टीरियर नेरिस। ठीक है? Now posterior nares is connected to the pharynx. So pharynx is a common opening for both digestive and respiratory system. Pharynx के बाद pharynx का posterior side में you will get 2 holes. One for the respiratory system, another for the digestive system. The respiratory system, that is called respiratory pharynx, is connected to the larynx. Okay? the oropharynx. Oropharynx means digestive system, digestive part of the pharynx. That is connected to the esophagus. Okay? Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
as we are dealing with the respiratory system, the respiratory system is connected to the larynx. The larynx is connected to the trachea. Now, where from the trachea starts? Trachea starts from the posterior aspect of the larynx. That is, or the base of the neck. So, in the neck region, what part of the respiratory system you will get? That is the trachea. Okay. Now, trachea enters the thoracic cavity up to the middle mediastinal space. And at the middle mediastinal space, trachea bifurcates into bronchus. And bronchus is connected to the lungs. Now, what are the organs we have to study here now in the thoracic cavity? Tell me now. So, what are the organs we have to study in the thoracic cavity for respiratory system?
Lungs.
Khali lungs.
The trachea, bronchus.
Trachea, bronchus, and lungs. Is not it?
Yes, sir.
So we have to start with the trachea, because trachea connected from the neck region to the thoracic. So it will start from the neck and it enters the thoracic cavity. So khali lungs hawa mein thodi rahega. Lungs is connected to the trachea. So we have to study the organs, trachea, bronchus, and lungs. So in the next class, that is tomorrow at 12 noon, we are going to start the trachea and lungs. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So till then, goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.